r/askreddit. What's the best advice you can give someone starting college? College gives literally zero shit about you. You can skip classes. You can text in class. You can eat in class. You can walk out of class. You can avoid your homework. You can fail tests. They do not care. You need to have the motivation and self-discipline to get your ass to class, pay attention, and do your homework. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Okay, this obviously is a case-to-case basis. It depends on the school, on the class, on the professor, on the year. Your situation might be different. That's fine. My point is you are not babysat like you are in high school. While you are cared about, it isn't to the extent it has been for the past 12 years. Also, thanks for the gold and up votes. It's not high school. The teachers will not babysit you. They will not check up on you. They will not give you 12 reminders. They will not email you to remind you to turn something in. They won't be worried if you haven't shown up to class in a few days. They barely know your name. They really don't care if they give you an F. In high school, they meet your parents. Counselors, administrators, parents get involved if you're failing. In college, your teacher isn't meeting your mom, isn't talking to your counselor, doesn't know what any of your other grades are. They aren't gonna get worried about you, they barely know who you are. Exactly, that freedom was too much for people freshman year. I didn't see a lot of friends after that first semester. Do not microwave fish in your room. Holy fuck, for some reason I thought you meant whole, live goldfish or something, and I was like, Jesus, are you the braces girl from Finding Nemo? One of my roommates last semester microwaved eggs in hopes for something, I guess. I don't know the exact reasoning, but as you can probably infer, whatever they expected was not what they got. Go to class. It's easy to fall in the habit because of the potential fun out of class activities. It's not high school. They aren't going to come figure out why you are missing class. You'll just fail out. I saw way too many smart people who just couldn't resist the party and late night life and failed out of school. You keep the debt and you have nothing to show for it. And when you go to class, actually pay attention in class. No Reddit during lectures. My older brother told me this. He said it doesn't matter if you're hungover, tired, hungry, stoned, whatever, just go to class. It makes such a huge difference. And you have to make it a priority and enact some self-discipline because it's so fucking easy to skip class in college. If you're fairly academically inclined and can get away with it, you can skip classes in high school without hurting your grades. It will fuck you in college. You have less class time and you need to understand what your professor is emphasizing and how they are structuring their course, because it's not some teacher covering chapters sequentially in a textbook. Like other posters here, I saw way too many smart people absolutely fuck themselves over because of a misguided idea of freedom. But do party a bit too, and do activities where you can meet people. It will become harder to make friends in adulthood. This was me. What an idiot I was. 12 years later and I'm working a decent enough job and getting back into school. The 35k I spent is still coming out of my 46k salary too. Go to class, dummies. No party is worth failing over. No girl is. You are there to position yourself ahead in life. Have fun but do what you're supposed to do. 3.8 high school GPA and a 32 on the ACT right here. No amount of natural smarts will help you if you don't try to learn the material. You can't coast on natural intelligence. Use a calendar app to keep track of your classes. On the first day of class, when you receive your syllabus, go home that night and input all your important dates, tests, projects, etc. for each class. This is a really good one. Also use the same calendar to keep track of social events, me time, study time, etc. Block the time in your calendar and try to stick to it. When someone invites you to a thing and you can look at the calendar and see an empty spot, it's super easy to be able to say yes without hesitation, because you know that you have critical time booked already. After you're out of college, it's common to get reoccurring dreams that you forgot to go to the final or you somehow missed the last day to drop a class you haven't attended all semester. So you need a calendar. I've been out of school for decades and still have these nightmares. Go to your classes. Skipping them to go drinking and partying won't help you. Get into a schedule. We all know those people who have commitments, of any type, at 9 AM, who don't even bother to go to sleep until 4 AM, then sleep through 5 alarms and end up being 2h late to everything. This won't work and you will fug yourself. A big aspect of college university is the social aspect. Not as big a portion of the learning part. Everyone wants to have a good time, but you aren't paying out the ass for the ability to go drink and party. You're paying out the ass to receive an education to help you in life. If you spend all your time drinking hungover instead of going to class, you're gonna have a bad time. Don't wait 20 years to go, if you can help it. Trust me, it sucks. As somebody WH is about to head into college 20 years late, what advice do you have? Make sure your dorm is your safe haven. You'll always be able to find social events and parties, but you don't want that becoming the place where you sleep at night. I spent too much time in my dorm and it hurt my social life a lot. Find a balance. Check your goddamn email. Serious question, is this an issue for today's crop of 18-year-olds? When I started college, 15 years ago, email was our only communication lifeline and I checked it at least daily. I still check my personal email like 20 times a day now. I've seen other great advice here, so here's something specific. Take notes in those lecture type classes, preferably written and neat to the point someone else can read them. Writing things down helps you remember. If the professor already has a slideshow, great, you'll have your notes organized by that. But still copy the titles, all the bullets, and add the content he says out loud next to the point of the slideshow he said it at. Your notes will become a treasure you can share with any classmates you deem worthy studying with or simply worth saving. You might not want to study every day the week before a test and time budgeting might demand putting it off, but I'd recommend reviewing these notes the 2 days nights before a test. Be smart with money. Enjoy the experience, meet people, study abroad if possible, but don't go to a Harvard price school for a degree that is useless in the real world. And always be aware of the real world. Don't let college become this sort of social utopia where everything is consequence free. BC it's not. Start budgeting early, especially on food. Financially, first priority should be paying off any debt. Second priority should be saving money. If you're earning, invest right away. This isn't to say you shouldn't go out, but always be aware of your spending, especially if you're spending your parents' money. Don't be afraid of using a credit card, but always pay off your monthly balance. Never live above your means just for the sake of being social, because it shows in your bank account, midsection, grades, future success, and, most importantly, mental health. Work out, eat healthy, get internships, and the productive friends will follow. Take advantage of professors' office hours. When I was in college, I didn't want to be a needy pain in the ass, so I didn't bother to get to know more than just one of my profs. My daughter just graduated college, and before the ceremony, we went to her School of Business department brunch. I was shocked what a valued relationship she had with her profs. Lifelong friendship happening there. They love her and have sound advice that I could never provide to her. So use your resources. The last piece of advice I can give you is that you will make your best friends in college. Life will happen and you will lose touch a bit. Then more life happens and you will reconnect and continue to have the time of your lives together. Just to add to this great advice, every year I have several students ask me for a letter of recommendation. Those who have never come to my office to talk or those who are on the quieter side in class I have very little to say anything about. My best rec letters have been in behalf of students I've formed a good rapport with over a number of conversations outside of class. Get to know us. Many of us aren't so bad. This has always been kind of weird to me. I believe a large part of why I wasn't accepted into the master's program at my school was due to this. I had good grades and everything, but I never talked with professors, so when they came across my name in the applications it was more of a just like, oh yeah, he doesn't talk to us much kind of thing. They always said it'd help and whatnot, but it seemed weird to me to spend my time and their time if I didn't have any questions. I had my job and my classes, and after 8-10 hours on campus every day the last thing I wanted to do was go small talk with a professor. Don't accept drinks from anyone. pour your own. If you're a guy, no glove no love. Don't be a fool, wrap your tool. Just because you got decent grades with very little effort in high school does not mean you can necessarily do the same in college. I did much better in college than in high school. I was actually taking classes that were interesting to me, instead of being forced into requirements that bored me to death. Grades matter, but knowledge matters more. I would have flipped that. At least for software, almost every interview I got was because of my GPA, and I just memorized stuff for tests. I still don't know shit, but I have a great job. It's better to try and do something 50% than to just not try. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from doing something. If you fall behind, it's so easy to just let it consume you, but you need to claw yourself out of that mindset inch by inch. This killed me my first time around in college. I would be late with one assignment and then just stop going to class because I was embarrassed. All I have to show for it is $15K in student loans and some shitty transcripts. Second time around went a lot better. This is so real. If you know you can't get your entire assignment done by 11:59 PM, don't give up and turn in nothing. Do what you can. A 50% is way better than a 0%. This one hits close to home for me. I became so embarrassed and ashamed of missing so many classes even though I was going through an extremely tough time. Looking back, I might have been able to pass if I had just pulled through and hadn't given up. Time management is extremely important. Procrastination can really hurt you in the long run. Oh, and happy cake day. If you don't understand something, speak up. You are not the only one with the same question. It's far more important to stay on track than to look cool in front of your peers. If you're intimidated by talking in class, take advantage of your professor's office hours. Building that relationship and showing I was trying saved my ass a time or two. I'll add on to this and say that you shouldn't waste time asking questions to appear smart. There was this one guy in my lectures who would constantly interrupt the lecturer to ask a question that was basically just a variant of what the lecturer just said. So if lecturer said something like we do 12 plus 17 to get 29, then the guy would chime up with, so if I'm understanding this right, we would do 17 plus 12 to get the required answer of 29. It was so fucking infuriating. Especially because he'd do it every lecture at least once. A few times he'd have like a good 10-minute discussion on something that was covered weeks ago that he decided not to read up on since all was off when it was originally covered, and didn't go to the office hours of the lecturer to ask for clarification. Like, holy shit, get some fucking self-responsibility. We were all given comprehensive lecture notes with examples. The lecturer had defined office hours. There was video recording online, and you live in 2017 during the internet. There were so many ways to find the answer yourself that interrupting a lesson should be the last option you take. My teacher said to not ask questions in class because it's waste time and people will be annoyed. Don't give up when it seems too much. Keep going and know you can accomplish anything. Have a job in mind. My biggest mistake. Coasting through college with a degree in mind but not even the slightest plans for after. Wear sandals in the shower. People are disgusting. After a few showers your feet will develop a thick protective crust of urine, pubes, ejaculate, and assorted sebum. Plus you don't want to walk the carpets barefoot, or with wet feet. Those carpets are probably 40 years old at least and are filled with the remnants of vomit, blood, urine, and anything else you can imagine. Treat college like a job instead of a 4-year party. Knuckle down, commit yourself to working at least 35 hours every week. Otherwise you're just being a time thief against your future. Sleep more than you study more than you party, and party as much as possible. So 9H sleeping, 8H studying, 7H partying. Take advantage of summer internships in a field that you actually see a future in, rather than working ones that don't interest you on the merit of them paying more. It can be really tough to break into certain lines of work after college, and a number of these bottom of the totem pole positions are only offered to current undergrads or very recent graduates. I can't emphasize enough how much a leg up you'll be giving yourself in life if you seek out these types of opportunities while you're still in school. Find a rhythm, go to class, Find a library you can reliably go to and find a quiet spot to read or study. Get ahead of courses if you can. Sleep hygiene regularity is critical. Party in moderation. Save the zany stuff for the weekends. Be smart with your money. Above all, do not become a statistic and deeply regret flunking a course or squandering your time. There is absolutely nothing wrong with going to class, studying on weekdays, relaxing and having fun on weekends, and getting ample sleep. Get a warm blanket, get a fan heater or similar, get meals you can have in your dorm. For example ramen, or if you got a freezer and way of boiling stuff. Things like gyoza, or even just a lot of dried pasta and some ready-made sauces pesto. It sounds a bit prepperish, but at uni I've been without heat 4/5 times, and it can be really miserable. Similarly, there's been a few nights where I've got hungry and had no food, and there's not been shops open. It can be pretty depressing. Also, don't forget to bring things you enjoy. If you play guitar, bring it, and don't be afraid of joining societies that are weird nerdy. If you've always played chess, keep playing, join the society, don't stop cause you want to reinvent yourself. Fuck reinventing yourself, you'll evolve naturally at uni, so don't force it. Don't buy the books until a week after school. Most professors never use them, and if they do, they just go over it in class during lecture. Just go to class and take notes. Unless it's math. Can't do the HW unless you know what ch. 5 question 12 AFR. Don't use your loan money for fun stuff like new toys or buying drinks, etc. Use what you need to survive. If there's extra, put it towards your debt. This is especially true for the gov loans. You can file bankruptcy for private ones but not the gov ones. Also, don't do tons of drugs or drinking during the school week. It's easy to just want to blow things off, but it's your money and future you're wasting. Take fun classes but be aware of your core curriculum as well. I blew a lot of scholarship money at community college on courses I didn't take seriously. Some almost hurt my GPA. Try to have a goal, a major, and a career in mind. Counselors can tell you which classes are required. Don't drink and drive. Good luck out there. Condoms are cheaper than diapers. Also, if you a dude, consent. Don't even let there be a possibility of misunderstanding. Don't skip class. Once you start, you don't stop. Don't schedule any 8 AM classes unless you know damn well you're a morning person. Managing to get in high school doesn't count. Eat well. It's easy to develop bad eating habits that just make you feel shitty. It's better to turn in a project or assignment late and well rather than incomplete and on time, or even not at all. Make good relationships with professors. It helps.